Since the pilot episode of The Amazing World of Gumball, we can see how here the first great unknown of the show is answered. Have you ever wondered where all your discarded drawings go? Maybe in the recycle bin, maybe forgotten in a notebook, or maybe in a place outside of your imagination and our understanding. That place outside of the rules of any universe, ruled by an entity without a face or a body. Literally the Matrix.
The Matrix is strong.
It is known as the Void because it's the only thing there is, and it seems to have no control of places outside of itself. We don't know what its aspirations are, but we might think that all it wants to is to maintain control over those things within its territory, or perhaps just letting its intrusive thoughts win. So one day it began to put it all together in order to create a universe. This would be the one we know today as Elmore. The only thing is that it has gone through some changes. And here's where we get back to the pilot episode of The Amazing World of Gumball, where you can see the reason of its mixed media animation style and characters so different from each other. And it's not, contrary to popular belief, recreational drugs. There are characters in 3D while there are flat ones. Some are so simple that just makes you wonder why, and others so big that they go off screen, just like those parents in every old cartoon. Here arises the question, why would the boy want to build something like this?
There, good boy.
Well, we can speculate with several things. Possibly, this entity with daddy issues is obsessed with order, and this is a way to fill its internal void. It wants to have complete control, and very surely, the entity not only wants to manage a big, simple space. Can you imagine how boring it would be to dominate something in which there's nothing to do? Oh wait, that's basically any Ubisoft map. For this reason it creates Elmore, giving a sense of being to things, by putting Gumball and the Watterson family as the center of this world, in which things are not going to make any sense, because it is simply made out of the things that the boy had on hand. And this colorful vomit mess was the result. It is also purposely built that way to function as a show, not only in the literal sense of the word, but probably the Void turned it that way for its own entertainment, and this way, those forgotten ideas, which for many could have been errors, would not be lost forever in their own abyss.
If what happens on TV happens to us, does it mean that we're on?
No, we all go home.
But hold on, this doesn't mean the Void is good or bad. Sometimes it makes correct decisions and others are simply questionable. Soon you'll see what I mean. For now, that's how The Amazing World of Gumball was born, which hasn't always been that amazing. Before being this show we all know today, as I told you, it was a complete mess, without coherence or any order, just like when I'm making these videos. But I'm not making this up. Ben Bucklet himself even used various old project sketches previous to the conception of the show. Originally, in fact, it is said that the idea of the show was that it revolved around the school that would serve as a space in which reject cartoon characters would be reformed, so then return to life and have a second chance. That's like Drawn Together, right? Clearly, this was only an idea, although several things from this first conception did remain in the final version. Returning to our cute little friend, despite being powerful in a certain way, is not omnipotent at all. The first thing is that it is not capable of controlling any character. It cannot decide their actions directly. So basically the boys are that stupid because yes. In that, the inhabitants of Elmore have autonomy. They live in a free country.
So if you're watching this in Saudi Arabia...
We have to understand that although they have a free will over their actions, this can be directed or altered by the Void. Just like the real world we live in, where the company BlackRock control everything, and I blame him for absolutely everything that has ever happened to me. How does the Void take action? And that's manifesting itself in really subtle ways, like the collision of a meteor, a deadly virus, a post-apocalyptic scenario with mutants, alien invasions, intergalactic marriage, and whatever this is. Its way of intervening varies depending the case, and the first of them is through a phenomenon known as the glitch, a kind of static that corrupts everything.
She was the glitch.
Yeah.
You telling me they don't look at me like the mother?
It is closely related to the phenomenon of the world. The clearest example of this is Rob, that after falling into the Void suffered an irremediable change. Is that a glow up or a glow down? He not only did change physically, but congratulations, they destroy a good man's heart. So he became an antagonist. One of the clearest manifestations of the Void, glitching out things, occurs in every single Ubisoft game. Now I mean in the episode The Signal, in which the Void begins to violently glitch everything around Gumball and Darwin. Like the words they say,
Es Consuela, necesita un doctor. Son sus riñones.
and little by little, the world around them is becoming somewhat out of control. We could say that the glitch is a weapon that the Void can use, but it's not the Void itself. And this can be seen in this episode, where the situation gets so out of control within the reality of the war zones, at times reaching total deformations in the characters, and other elements that began to take terrifying forms, typical of other scenarios or shows. At the end of the episode, it is revealed that Elmore is facing some broadcast issues.
We assure you we are working on the problem, so please, bear with us while we try to...
Wait, then why is it affecting the...
Which indicates that the world is indeed connected to something else, something very far from the understanding of its inhabitants. Perhaps they are part of other shows, far from the reality of Elmore, which would open to an imminent multiverse within that reality. Oh no, this appeals to Marvel fans, oh no! Although if you think this might seem like a too worn out resource, you're absolutely right. But it's not a crazy idea to think the amazing world of Gumball is connected to other shows, or who knows, perhaps realities. Let's remember for a second the synopsis of the upcoming movie. Gumball, biggest fan, finds the show missing an episode and accidentally opens a portal connecting his world to Gumball's cartoon world. Upon meeting his heroes, our super fan decides to team up with Gumball, Darwin, Anais, Richard, and Nicole to save them from a nefarious force overtaking Elmore, while inadvertently unleashing a threat of their very own. What a Toulouse Sigma shot, boys, I got, huh? But why does this matter? As we realize there is a break in the fourth wall. We got this Gumball fan that we assume is human, and this is important because again, in the episode The Signal, when things get out of control due to the glitch, many of the elements that we see are not brought from other shows, but seem like objects from the real and tangible world. Stuff that seems to belong to the same world that you and I live. That sounds tragic. This is how the possibility appears that perhaps our world and the Gumball one are directly correlated by an universe that has different parts, all mediated by one or many entities, which the Void could be one of those. And things become more interesting when we notice how the synopsis of the movie makes a reference to a key moment in the show. We're talking about the Banana Barbara's painting, in which the Warzone family is fleeing from a war about to be destroyed. This part right here. And although the reason why it wants to destroy everything is unknown, maybe the Void is just trying to act all tough, as girls love bad boys. But if you don't like that answer, we can assume other things. Probably the reason is that if the world loses interaction and stops moving, it would die by itself, meaningless. If the plot does not move on and the characters stop living their absolutely ridiculous adventures, everything in Elmore loses interest. By the way, let me know if you want a video about the most normal episode of Gumball. I already did that with regular show, and I feel the same idea with this show would be a great video. Legit, no cap, bro. Okay, but therefore what is convenient for the Void is to destroy what it has built and put together something new that works better.
From the ashes, a new America will be born!
Just like in the episode The Pageant, in which Gumball and Darwin decide to do the same as a TikToker. Absolutely nothing. In their complete degenerate state of lethargy, they see how the world starts to turn against them. The TV suffers small scratch, as well as other objects, with the aim of not allowing them to do nothing. And this makes sense, since for example the remote is only an inanimate object devoid of life, personality and any conscience, which is why the Void can do whatever it wants with it, no glitch needed. As we saw earlier, the Void goes savage mode in this episode. The idea that the amazing world of Gumball is part of a universe interconnected with other ones and that all of them are mediated by the Void puts on the table once again another question. Is the Void bad? It is definitely an authoritarian entity that when things get out of its hands, it is capable of doing what is necessary to correct the course of the things as planned, causing several to be injured along the way. That sounds like a villain to me, I don't know. I mean, under what excuse we did not let them live in peace? What's wrong with a lazy day?
Man, why is the universe so determined to make us move today?
Their adventures are fun, weird, but also entertaining. But if they are not able to decide what to do and what not with total freedom, forced to stay there for who knows how long, they are perhaps trapped in a world in which there is no chance to choose anything, as unconscious slaves in a lethargy from which is impossible to wake up. Wow, that's really wholesome. In case you hadn't noticed it until now, the boy gives a about its characters, no shame in eliminating some, such as the case of Molly, which it even erased of the memory of several in Elmore, was kept in a place behind a curtain, where the world folded in on itself, all because she was too boring. There they find her on the border between nothing and the world they knew, sort of like a limbo. How do we know this? Well, the episode is called The Void. Here we can see the limits beyond Elmore. They get to see that there are many things that were left aside from the world, forgotten by many.
The mullet.
Like Steven Small's truck, that literally looks like a shitpost with wheels. We can conclude two things. The Void is removing and putting things at will like this is SimCity. In addition to the fact that the Void exists as a unit. It is not only an entity but a latent space self-regulated by itself, who's consciously active and always on the lookout. We can suspect that it can manifest as a character in the show, to ensure that everything works as it should. Yet this means there is an imposter among us. None other than Sarah. But why she? Well, it turns out that Sarah, on different occasions, was able to break the fourth wall with relative ease.
So when I wrote all this, it became canon in reality.
And additionally, she's forced into situations that have to do with Gumball and Darwin, such as when the boys have to show Sarah around the school with no contacts. This protection of her universe, it is also seen in the final arc of the show, in which it is revealed how Rob came to be defeated, since the protagonists are provided with resources in order to put an end to his plans.
The reason I've been trying to transform you is because...
Did the boy do this because it cares about Elmore? Or did it only remove Rob from the equation because he put that world of fantasy controlled at risk?
Oh no, it started.
It is most likely that all the questions we got will be resolved in the movie. For now many things make sense, while others have much more depth than we ever thought. Like that message that the boys once got. Perhaps it was the boy manifesting itself and letting the world that it controls know that it's not alone. And incidentally, it reminds us that they must continue smiling for the cameras, so that the order that the boy aspires to have, full of fun and adventure at the cost of freedom of all these rejected cartoons, can satisfy its delusion of entertainment.